Okay, so based on what I have here, can you guess what we're gonna make? Can you guess what we're gonna make out of this? Well, why don't I start cooking it and then we'll see what it becomes. How about that? That way it'll be a mystery until then. So to start off, I'm gonna just heat up my pan on medium-low heat. Just let it heat up nice and slow. Need a little bit of oil and some salt. Okay. So what I'm going to start with in our mystery thing, I'm going to start with some garlic and onion, which doesn't tell you anything because I pretty much start everything with garlic and onion. I'll just take the skin off this onion. And I'm going to follow the radius. Makes you wonder what I'm going to cook, right? Look at the ingredients again. What are we going to do with these? What are we going to do with habaneros? Those are spicy. What in the hell? And then we've got thyme, our old favorite, some mushrooms. We've got a bunch of tomatoes, like a lot of tomatoes. Ooh, that's a hint. Why would we need that many tomatoes? And then what are these? Sun-dried tomatoes. Why would we want sun-dried tomatoes and fresh tomatoes? The plot thickens. Meanwhile, I'm going to do some garlic. Cut off its little butt, peel the paper, give it a little smash. Slides right out. Try it again. We'll cut off the butt. Give it a smash. Slides right out in pieces. Get that piece of paper. And I'm going to mince this garlic up. All right. Nice minced up garlic. My pan is just about hot enough. I'm going to mince this garlic. I'm going to go over it one more time because I'm not in a rush here. I'm going to just make it nice and fine. There we go. Now I'm going to throw some oil in. Make a little crazy 8 pattern. And in goes the garlic. Nice. Do you hear that? It's just the right heat. When it makes that sound, it's at just the right temperature. What I don't want to hear is that when it's too hot. It's too hot and it's no fun. Here comes the onion. Okay. Now, I'm going to let this go on very low heat, pretty low heat. And I'm going to add, now we're going to do something with these. What is this? Well, this is a pea protein patty. I'm going to put these habaneros in there. God, it's so hard to do this, isn't it, when you don't know what I'm cooking? I don't even know if I like it. I feel like maybe it's like rude. It's like you're going on an adventure and you don't know where you're going. It's like, why should you trust me like that? All right, I'll give you a little hint because these obviously we're gonna be making meatballs. Okay, so if we're making meatballs, then what else could we be doing? Well, yeah, well, we're gonna do spaghetti meatballs. Oh God, I'm such a sucker. I can't believe I let you con me into it like that. All right. Fair enough. So I've given away the secret. It's no longer a mystery. We're making spaghetti meatballs. But you could have known that, right? Did you know that from these ingredients? Look at these ingredients again. You think you would have known that from that? Just from taking a look at those? Now I've got this is a spicy habanero, and I've got 2 of them in there now. So, look out. I'm going to, it's getting a little hot over here, so I'm going to cool things down with some white wine. Because we're in no hurry. I've got another frying pan here, which I'm going to I'm going to keep it very low. Just even lower than that. Nice and low. Yeah. Just about like that. Okay. Now for our meatball, I'm going to do a couple more pieces of garlic. This time they're going in the meatball, not the sauce. So I'll do the same as before. This is a lot of garlic. You've watched me peel garlic 4 times now today. Cut off the butt, smash, and I'm going to mince this garlic up. Alright. Nice minced up garlic. My pan is just about hot enough. I'm going to mince this garlic. I'm going to go over it one more time because I'm not in a rush here. I'm going to just make it nice and fine. Okay, so I just put the garlic in. Let's take a look at this. So we've got this steaming up nice. We've got the white wine in there, making it nice and juicy. Good. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of garlic salt. Out of here. Housekeeping. Okay. A little bit of garlic salt. I think it's important to season it whenever you get the urge. Whenever your instincts tell you you should season it, just go ahead and do it. Okay, now the meatballs. So, I've got the habanero, spicy. I've got the garlic. I'm going to add a little more spicy with some black pepper. You can tell I like spicy meatballs. I'm going to add a little bit of the smoked salt and a little bit of soy sauce, just to make it nice and savory, a little rich, soy saucy. And I thought, how about, just to help things bind a little bit, I'm going to throw in a little bit of nutritional yeast, just a touch. And yeah, that's enough. And I'm going to mash it. Get my spoon out, scoop these up, mash, mash, mash. I like to keep it, I like to make it a spicy, I think the meatball is sort of like a hyper condensed flavor because it's this little fried bundle and you're going to kind of pick away at it during the meal. So I think it's important for the meatball to be really flavorful and spicy because it's the thing that's sitting on the plate, and that when you're eating it you can choose how much of it to eat as you go. So it should be worthy of slow relegation of flavor. Okay, that's nice and hot. I'm going to use some butter on the meatball. I'll take a nice fat dollop of butter. Let that sizzle. I always love to watch butter sizzle when it glides around on its little snail trail. I just could look at that all day. Alright, while that goes down, that starts to melt down, I'm going to grab little clumps of this and paw them into balls. Nice little ball. Ball. I like to make them just the size of the palm of my hand, like that little divot in the palm of my hand. You can spend forever trying to like roll it into the perfect shape, but you're not going to get any better.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Just hand it back and forth a few times. It's not going to get any better. The whole point of doing it is really just to sort of push some of the air out, so that you've got a nice dense little ball. A little more heat here. There we go. Just to start things off. After that, we're going to cook them. We're going to slow cook them and turn them often. We're going to have a lot of meatballs here. It's super important to use a really good non-stick frying pan when you're doing meatballs, because the proteins, especially in these pea protein meats, they're so sticky that you'll have a meatball disaster if you don't have a nice slick pan. And I've really got a ton of butter in there, and maybe even too much butter. We'll see. Okay. All right. Just move these around. I'm gonna get some tongs. It's worth the trouble to turn them over one by one, because you don't want them to fall apart. And once they get a little, once they get like a little tough skin where they've been cooked, they'll hold together a lot better. See that? I'm just turning them one by one. There. And since they're so vulnerable, I'm going to hit them with pepper while they're least expecting it. There. Okay, now meanwhile, in this pan, we've got our basic garlic onion mix. So now we're going to have a little fun with the tomatoes. We're going to make this basically a raw marinara. And I love, if you look at this tomato, see how this tomato wrinkles a bit? See how it's kind of old? It's like been around, you can tell, because it's wrinkly, just like, you know, people when they get old. That's the perfect marinara tomato, when it's just a little soft. It's just starting to give. I'm going to cool this down until we're ready. Cool it down, buy us some time. Okay. Let's make a sauce. I love this toy. This thing is... Okay, let's take a look. So we've got, watch the blade, there's a blade in there. So we've got a nice kind of a soupy thing going on. So now, in order to make it marinara-ish, we have to use these, which are the sun-dried tomatoes. They're like raisins, but they're made of tomatoes. So I'm going to start throwing these in, a few at a time, because they're tough. You know, it helps if you give them time to soak a bit. We're not giving them much time to soak. We're pretty much just going to throw them in and start grinding them. But as you grind them, beware that they don't catch the blade. Yeah, this time the blades, it's cutting right through them, which is good. So we can add some more. Add some more, and I'm gonna keep adding them until it gets just about thick enough. Because I want it to be nice and thick, like a nice thick puree, and then I'm going to thin it out with some rice string. Alright, let's add that to our frying pan here. There we go. Okay. Now, now we've got something going. Give that a little more heat. Just a second. Okay. Give these meatballs another little turn. They have a hard time turning on the one side, so I'm going to just kind of lean them up against each other. Oh wow, this marinara. See, it's so good, you know, the taste of real, raw, fresh tomatoes is so good in this sauce. I just love it. It's so much stronger than when you have the tomatoes boiled out and getting thin because they've been cooking for so long. Wow, really good. Really, really good. Let me get the heat just right. I don't want it to get too hot too fast. But I keep turning these. If you see any sides, see how this side is kind of pink? If you see a side that's a little too pink, put that side down. That way you get it cooked all the way through. Even though it's a plant protein, it's still nice to cook it all the way through, as if it were, you know, meat. There you go, all the way through. Oh wow, I can smell the habanero. That is going to be a spicy meatball. Woo, okay. We're going to have fun with that. Okay. What else can we do here? The sauce is going to need some seasoning. It's thinning out just about to where we can add some milk. I'm going to add rice milk in just a second. But first I want it to kind of settle and make peace with the onions and garlic. As soon as it all feels like it's kind of gelled and they've all formed a sauce, then we can start to flavor it. Oh, good. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Okay. I'm gonna choose a few spices here. A little bit of cayenne and some oregano. Okay, let's start with oregano. We've got a crazy squirrel over here. Jesus. Oh, there's two of them. That's what it is. There's two squirrels over there. Yeah, they're playing catch and tag. Tag, you're it. You know, I can't help it. I like the way the red looks. I'm gonna add some. I'm gonna give these a little cayenne. Just a little cayenne, because we know the meatballs are going to be hot enough. We want to be very sparing with the cayenne. But I'm going to put some paprika on the meatballs, just because, like, I was in a previous show, I was talking about how paprika is good for color. That redness, it just kind of, it makes the food look so pretty when you get a little paprika on there. Or as some people say, paprika. Oh, look at them. Look at them go. Spicy meatballs. So spicy. Wow. God, those are just gorgeous. I'm going to cool down the heat a little bit. All right, this is starting to get in need of some more liquid. So I think it's about time for the rice milk. Pour that in. Let that move around in there, and we'll let that reduce down and see what we have. I think we're pretty close. This is going to reduce fast, so I'm going to get a plate ready. Clean area first. Okay. So, we did ourselves a nice favor. We cooked the pasta ahead of time. So I've got some pasta here. Just throw that on the plate. A little twist. A little twist. Keeps it all together. Twisty, twisty. And the beauty of this sauce is that it's quick, you know, because it's raw. It doesn't need to be stewing overnight. You don't have to use canned tomatoes. You don't have to cook it for hours and hours, because the idea is we're keeping this kind of raw tomato taste. Okay, it's too acidic, so we have to sweeten it up. So we're going to add a little agave nectar, just a little bit. Also, it feels like it needs something more binding, so I'm going to throw in a little nutritional yeast. I'm going to try to tone down the acid a little bit. I mean, it's good. It's a good acid, but I don't want it to be too much like salsa. You know, I want it to be like marinara. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit and sweeten it up. Let's see how we did. Changes it a lot. Now it needs more salt. We're getting close. We're balancing. We're getting close. We're balancing it all out. Okay, I'm going to lower the heat because I don't want to lose any more moisture. In fact, I'm going to give it a little more oil just to keep it wet looking. Now we made a small portion on purpose, but you know, if you're going to make this and you're going to make it for 4 people, obviously you're going to want to make 4 times as much, and the way to do that is to start with the tomatoes. And if you have a bigger mixer, I mean, obviously, you know, out here we can't have a power blender. We got to have just a little thing. Oh. God, isn't it just magical? Isn't it just amazing? Just a little adjustment, and suddenly it becomes something. Oh, it's so zingy and tangy. You know, like I first started making it like this because there was you know, some people who are into raw. They only eat raw, and they had a recipe for this. It was called marinara raw. So, and they were talking about, they had this recipe, and what I loved about it is how you taste the tomato, the raw tomato. And I like cooking it because I like having onion and garlic, but I don't want having that garlic kind of like ruining my sex life for the whole day. So if you cook the garlic and then you let the garlic simmer down, it won't ruin your breath, and it'll combine with the marinara raw to create this, which is something that is tangy and spicy and a little bit sweet. Okay, you're right, it's time. Let's just do it. Voila, look at that. Now you gotta decide, what's the right ratio? How much pasta is there? How much is gonna spread around nicely? How's that? Probably looks better from that angle. Meanwhile, these meatballs. Now, these meatballs are looking gorgeous. Look at that. See how they've got just a little bit of, not black. We don't ever want it to burn, because burn is blackened, that's carcinogenic, that's bad for you. But brown is great. Brown, not black. And if you're getting something black, chances are the heat is just too damn hot. You've got it turned up too hot. So I'm gonna give these one last quick sizzle, try to get all the last sides that we didn't get yet. I'm gonna just rage on it. I'm gonna give it a little more salt. Keep these things really just these little bombs of flavor that are gonna go on top of our pasta dish. Oh gosh, a little bit of agave. Oh God, I'm going crazy here. A little agave on there. What else? Pepper, a little pepper. We're sizzling them up. We're bringing them to a total boiling point here. Let's spin them. Mix all the flavors around. Cover them with this boiling foamy fat. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love it. Okay. And we're ready. Let's pick the 2 most delicious looking ones. Stick them on there. Let's do 3. Or is 2? Nah, 3. I'll use a 3rd one that's kind of small. How about that? Look at that. Look, we can put a little garnish of thyme, and we can finish it off, if you want, with just a little bit of, this is a vegan Parmesan. A little bit of dusting, lightly dusting it, not too much. Just making it look like a little frost of salty cheesiness on there. Looks good, right? Alright, let's try it. Okay, here we go. Look at it first. Look at that. Isn't that a delicious looking plate of pasta? It's like you've been teleported to some kind of a alternate reality, like a vegan alternate reality. Oh wow. Oh, it's so good. We did it just right. I love it when this happens. Oh. So it started off with a mystery, and now the mystery's solved. It turned out to be spaghetti and meatballs. If you try this recipe, please take a picture and tag me, because I would love to see how it turned out for you. And until next time. Really, just right. And cut.